Well, that's hypoproteinemia.
Okay, let's
So if you have hyperproteinemia, what pressure does that affect and which way?
high water.
And what's it going to do to it? Decrease colon osmotic pressure, right? If you have, it's going to put there, if you have less proteins, you're going to lower colon osmotic pressure.
Oh, it's less protein. High protein.
The key is, where is the part, what's going on? Proteins are driving the water in, are helping keeping it in. If you don't have proteins, that osmotic pressure is lower. Where's water going to go? Out to the tissue. So you're going to have H2O then, increase of H2O into the tissue compartment. Again, that's interstitial fluid. Again, what is that commonly called when you start building up fluid interstitially? Edema. See, we kind of did a little talking when we were doing that. Okay, but of course that's how I am. I want to go the other thing. If water is going from here to here, what's happening to blood pressure? Water is going from here to here. Blood pressure is down. Blood pressure is how much fluid is in there. So blood pressure is actually going down. Does everyone sort of see the logic of this, okay? See the sort of the idea. Obviously, liver proteins are what's keeping fluid in, are helping oppose the blood pressure. If you don't have them, boom, the blood pressure is going to force fluid out into the interstitial. If there's more fluid here, less in here, blood pressure is dropping. You're building it all up in your sort of your tissue compartment. When you think of blood pressure dropping, what do you think of? Baroreceptor response. Okay? Does that make sense how things are going to go? This has like I might have even had the story, but it sort of made sense years later. So my mom did die of cancer. I teach cancer. That's my other passion of teaching in different schools. They won't let me teach it here. They don't even have it here. But the bottom line is, when this was happening, when I'd visit her, basically it was end up being liver metastasis, so her liver stopped, was decreasing functioning. And you go in, and all basically the fluid was basically, in her arms, etc. And so, it was extremely, extreme edema. It was really weird. I think they proved it. Is, of course, the medical treatment is they would wrap her arms really tight to try to force the blood, or force the fluid back into the blood. Seems like we should do better. Okay? We can have iPhone 25. I think we should be able to do better than doing something 2 centuries ago. But how this related to this too was because I was there with her, and a nurse came, take her blood pressure, and I had her stand up, and it was like, so between that and that, I mean, her blood pressure was way down. I'm like, that doesn't make much sense. And the other thing which doesn't make total sense to me, a lot of times when you have that, they're giving you diuretics, and you're losing fluid. But most of that fluid, unless you have something else, is going to be coming from this too. So it's a little weird to me overall. Yeah.
So when you're talking about liver failure, is it the breakdown of proteins that the liver's not doing, or is it the decrease of proteins?
It's decrease, because the liver makes these proteins, and so the cancer basically kills you by taking over whatever organ it is to a large extent. It becomes, instead of liver tissue, just cancerous tissue. And so it's kind of that's why when I talked about endocrine tumors, they weren't cancerous. They are the idea of just, they're starting to get out of control, but they are still just, causing whatever is supposed to happen more is out of control. But in this case, the ability to make these liver proteins, et cetera, and of course that affects all the important things the liver proteins actually do as well. But in this case, we're seeing how it affects basically blood pressure, kind of putting it in. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think? Yeah, question.
I was trying to figure out what it does to the veins too, not just the arteries. Is this the same effect on?
Yeah. I mean, there's less fluid. Yeah, which is another idea too. Is there's less. If you're putting less in, you even have less control, or even putting it back too, right? So it can affect a lot of things. But this will try Okay, the baroreceptor response will do all it can to try to compensate to increase blood pressure, okay? But don't worry about too much of that on that. So anything that lowers blood pressure, which includes this, is gonna cause this baroreceptor response, and you are gonna have this, norepinephrine, et cetera, flying around as well, and doing all this. So, take a break. We're done with this, the big chapter, one of the biggest chapters of the semester. So take a break, and then again we'll go. This one won't be as intense, and so after we'll finish up with the material for the test with blood, and then try to do at least part of. Definitely, I want to do the first practice question I have, which because it helps talking about the calcium channel and how it's affecting blockers, how it affects these things. So it will actually help review from 3 weeks ago as well. But take a break, 10 minutes or something, and then we'll finish up the material part.
Is this too much protein or too
Too
little?
little.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, then.
I think really my worry was because I didn't realize that the liver was creating those proteins.
Mhm.
I thought it was filtering them out.
I completely forgot about the proteins. I'll be honest with you. Okay, I'm gonna say 2.